During the ceremony, Howard showed nothing but love to the city of Orlando and the franchise itself. Here's what he had to say. Love says this isn't just about the trophy. It's about bringing a culture shift to RCR racing. Once they get to the play-in tournament, there's 3 teams that could play. The Hawks, who they beat yesterday, the Heat, or the Bulls. So the NBA's playoff picture isn't set just yet, but the Magic do have that 7 seed. The Magic just played their last home game of the season. With the win tonight, they've locked up the 7 seed for the NBA's play-in tournament. Cole Anthony says his team isn't worried about the outside noise. They're just focused on winning games.
Senate Bill 172, also known as the Georgia Sports Betting Integrity Act, was introduced by Senator Bill Cowsert and was passed 8-4 by a Georgia Senate committee, but it still has to be approved by 2/3 of the House and Senate.
You don't figure out a pathway to put guardrails and parameters around it, you're not going to stop people from doing it. The late Dr. Martin Luther King talked about this in one of his commencement speeches, and he said, you cannot legislate morality. You can only legislate behavior. And it's my intent, by legalizing sports betting, we can put the parameters around legalizing the framework in which we hope people will govern themselves.
The bill would form a sports betting commission that's responsible for giving licenses to prospective sports betting operations. Some platforms that would be legalized include online and mobile sports betting through platforms like DraftKings and FanDuel. State Representative Ron Stevens says he's blown away by how much electronic sports betting has grown.
These things weren't even invented then, so the only thing that you had was a paper. The question's even bigger than sports betting. It's about electronic gaming, which encompasses a whole lot of things.
In 2019, the presidents of the Atlanta Hawks, Braves, Falcons, and United formed the Georgia Professional Integrity Alliance. These organizations aren't just pushing for betting to be legalized, they want it to be allowed in their own stadiums through kiosks. And if the bill did get approved, it'd still have to be passed by a statewide referendum. Reporting in Savannah, Tyler Carmona, WSAV News 3, on your side. Franz Wagner getting things going. Nice spin move, going in for the layup. Next trip down, Paulo Banchero blowing past the defense and just throwing it down. Magic went into half with an 18-point lead. Now, Boston didn't bring their starters, but they did bring a fight. Here's Peyton Pritchard knocking down the tough jumper. Pritchard finished with 19, and here's Luke Cornett working in the post, hitting the turnaround. You see Boston's trying to keep it close, but Orlando just had control all night. Here's Anthony Black hitting the 3, and that just about seals it. Magic rolled 96-76, the final score.
Dallas Wings only won 9 games last season, but after the moves they made this offseason, I think they'll be a legit contender. Obviously, the big move was getting Paige first overall. She's just the type of player that makes everybody better. We've seen that throughout her college career. She was UConn's leading scorer last year, but she was also top 3 in every other major stat, both offensively and defensively. We saw that in the tournament, whether it was AZ or Sarah Strong. She wasn't afraid to just step back and be that distributor when her teammates got hot. Dallas can use that, especially when you have Arike Gumbawale, who's one of the most dynamic scorers in the WNBA. She was second in the league in scoring last year, and she's just one of the most unguardable players we've seen in a while. Now she doesn't have to worry about running the entire offense by herself, carrying the scoring on her shoulders, and being the primary ball handler. She can focus on being a scorer, getting to her spots, and letting Paige set her up. And then you got Alyssa Smith, who I think might surprise some people this year. She was the number 2 overall pick a few years ago. Obviously had a rough season last year, but I think in Dallas, now she'll have a clean slate. She was really comfortable running the pick and roll when she made the all-rookie team back in 2022, and I can see her getting back into that with Paige, and they'll have the option to kick out to Arike. And you can't forget about DeJounte Carrington. I think having players like her would separate good teams from being contender. I think she'll be their backbone. She made the all-defensive team last year, and she was the WNBA's most improved player. I think the team's just going to feed off her energy and effort, and I think with all these players coming together, it feels like the Wings are trending in a positive direction.
Before flag football made the Olympics, before it had sponsors, or even rules people agreed on, there was Sandra Romero, also known as Peyton.
Es un gusto el que pues yo sea inspiración, ¿no? Y eso es lo que más me importa ahora, el seguir compartiendo todo lo que he aprendido.
She didn't come from a football family or even grow up playing the sport. She told me she saw a flyer at her university and just decided to try out.
Los coaches, los jugadores, ellos empezaron a invitar y ellos eran los que nos entrenaban.
And now she's won 11 World Cups and is still active 4 decades into her career. And she got a pretty cool nickname in the process.
Ellos me pusieron Peyton porque me decían que era muy rápida y aparte corría parecido a Walter Payton.
She started back in the 80s when Mexico had barely 10 teams playing flag football. No uniforms, barely any structure. It was just people who loved the sport.
Éramos 10 equipos en 1985. En México, en lo que es la ciudad de México, ha de haber yo creo que como unas 15 ligas.
And now there's leagues and international tournaments all over the world. She says she keeps playing because the game still teaches her lessons every day.
Jugarlo porque es un deporte muy bonito el flag y pues nunca tengan miedo ante nada. Creo que los sueños se cumplen y uno pone los límites, ¿no? Entonces, que siempre luchen. Creo que el flag nos enseña a tener carácter. Creo que la palabra no puedo, como se los digo, no existe, ¿no? Porque sí, sí se puede cuando uno quiere hacer las cosas.